Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. Sorry I have to gather myself. I haven't been stopped crying. Pope Francis died today, 88 years old. And then when I got the news, my spirit guide, my angels, after prayers and meditation, they keep saying that he didn't die of natural causes. I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat of this, especially from people that I understand you're hurt. Like, trust me, this is heartbreaking because even though I have issues with Catholic churches and stuff like that and Christianity, I grew up Christian. I still believe that someone like who stands to the last breath about to stop a genocide no matter what, and stand up for the Palestinian, the people in Gaza, call the holy churches, the last church in Gaza every day to make sure how they were doing. Like, that deserves, like, but also that too, if this is true, he was murdered. He's a murderer then. He was murdered. Father God said he kept showing different decks, the Ace of Cups. Usually for us, that's the signs of like love or a new beginning or something, you know. And yes, for Pope Francis, maybe, you know, bless his soul, rest in peace, you know, and power. This is the chalice, right? This is the chalice in Christianity. And then also, it reveals also how because I couldn't believe it. I was like, no. And then I kept seeing videos and pictures of people, like, your intuition is right. Like, for a lot of you, the vice president of the USA, he was not sent there because of Easter. He was sent there to shut those people up. He's paid by a specific lobby. So he's going to be found out. This is going to be exposed too. So I'm just revealing, confirming what Father God, because I don't believe anybody else other than God. And if all the gods, my God, the Son of God, the angels and my ancestors come all together as that whole team, not only to protect me because I'm saying this, because I know that this is going to, the cognitive dissonance of people is going to be all over the roof. This is the truth. There was a specific lobby that paid this person because he doesn't have any money. USA is broke. So there's a specific lobby that pays the vice president, not only to go there, is to keep him quiet, to keep the Pope quiet, because they knew that, the Pope is the Pope. He has the most, and also that too, he's advocating for the most Palestinian, like, and that too, there was other videos that I was supposed to tap in yesterday. I was so tired. I couldn't, like, you know, and I was like, okay, I finished all the work that I need to do, sharing and stuff, because that takes a lot of work, guys, the editing and the sharing. And then you see also trying to combine the censoring, the suppressing, and trying to, you know, it's a lot, you know, so and then Father F saying you're a spiritual judge, so do your job. So I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm just gonna follow my truth. It's just what it is. The Ace of Cups reminds me, when I saw it from a different deck, I went to a different deck and the same cards kept popping out. But this Ace of Cups, it talks about that it was usually for us to, when we're looking into things that has happened to other people in the past. This came out for that girl that we did that reading, that life reading, I think. Wait, I have her name here. Dora Mono Nyambe, that she was poisoned. That Ace of Cups keeps coming here. So in a way, this is not a poison. This has to be a specific substance that it will make someone die very slowly. So it wouldn't look like it was a drastic death or it was murder. It was gonna make it look like it was natural causes, especially because Pope Francis was already suffering from like 2 pneumonias. He was suffering from a lot of things. But last night, Father God said he was very healthy. He was good. He was, you know. So before he met this guy, and this was another situation where Pope Francis kept saying, no, he doesn't want to meet this guy. He doesn't want to meet this guy. That was his intuition. That was God telling him, no, do not meet this guy. Literally, he met him because obviously insisting and stuff like that. You know how the devil works, right? And a lot of people are calling G.D. Vance or whatever an antichrist. he is a demonic energy, right? He was paid, like is not a human, right? So he went there and something came up. It keeps saying that, you see the seven of, this one kept coming out too, the 7 of Wands with an Empress. An Empress is a female energy, right? It's a woman energy, it's someone who has some type of stand or something like that. 7 of Wands, it talks about also being defensive, or trying to penetrate protection or a shield or something like that, or trying to fight something. Okay, so this could be this Empress, okay, this energy. Again, I'm not getting the energy of this Empress energy. This could be someone who works with Pope, or who is kind of warning him, someone who is not considered, like, could be a servant, could be a cleaner, could be someone who works in the Vatican who told the Pope, don't go there, don't do this, okay? Or don't let them, or she could have, like, I guess because her energy, it's a female energy who is very protected of the Pope. So a lot of whoever works with the Pope or in the Vatican, you're gonna know who this is. She was right. She knew something was wrong. Her instincts were telling her, and she was saying, no, no, no. Also, they prevented her from being there in that meeting, because it was very strange. She usually is there to give either medication or water or make sure that he's okay. She all of a sudden gets removed from that spot, and somebody else comes in. And this is the decision. See, the Devil and the Lovers. The Lovers comes here as this energy of very loving, very caring, but it's a masquerade. It's someone who has other plans. Now, the Death came up with the 7 of Swords, which is this is lies and deceits. Again, confirming that this is not a natural cause. This was murder. This is murder. Okay? Because he wouldn't, the 5 of Pentacles, he wouldn't let it go. And the 9 of Wands, it was a swift death. It's something about some type of money or something in a situation. You see the 9 of Wands? This is someone who has that intention. This is, fire energy, Leo, Sagittarius or Aries energy, Capricorn energy, Gemini, Aquarius. Like, someone has said that this is not what, like, this was planned, because it's not possible that 4 hours later after meeting this guy, Pope dies, right? And that's what he's saying, like, he wasn't supposed to, but now he's martyred. So meaning that Pope Francis right now has the ability, he's an ancestor, and that's a powerful one. So whoever tried to kill him, you just made the huge enemy on the other side. This is very spiritual, guys. We are a spirit having a human experience here. First, everything is spiritual. So I feel like this was some type of sacrifice as well, because they're losing, I keep hearing they're losing the war, they're losing the information war.
I hate this term, information war, because there is no war when it comes to information. There is telling the truth, and then there is lies. Okay, there's also suppressing the truth, which really contributes to the lies. That's all it is. There's honest journalism, and then there's dishonest journalism, which is most of the legacy media and Western media. And at the beginning of the genocide, I have a classmate from medical school who lives in Israel, and she saw me posting about Palestine, and she messaged me right away saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're losing the information war. You live in the US and you post about Palestine." And I remember thinking to myself, that's all it is to you? You're concerned about losing the information war, not about the war crimes that are happening, not about the annihilation of Palestinian people. And for many politicians, that's all it is about, is winning the information war, which is winning the war against the truth, against the people, and against our collective survival as a species.
So basically this Pope was a nuance, right? It was something that it was blocking, because it was also revealing the truth, but this is cheating, right? Because you're trying to cheat, so by killing the truth, basically, because he was speaking the truth, and trying to, now they're gonna try to infiltrate another pope, and hopefully the Vatican doesn't buy into this. I feel like this is why Stan is there as well. He's not there for he's making sure that the support of, and that's so sad. It's like, I'm also seeing that a lot of Christians, you don't understand, Zionism, they don't give a fuck about Christianity. Their goal is not only ethnic cleansing and the culture of Palestinians, it's Christianity too. All of your worshiping this Christian Zionists, at the end of the day, their ideology is trying to kill your religion. Just like it tried to kill the Jewish religion. Duh. It's obvious. It's always been obvious. Why would it want to eradicate and ethnic cleanse the first Christians? And you're okay with that? You're okay that these people are trying to, Israel is not for Christianity. It never was. I have videos that I have to show you guys that he wants me to add here. It's not an accident that it was not put on the other part 1. So this is part 2. But my condolences to those who are going through it. I am definitely going through it. I'm trying to keep my wits because I'm going to start crying my balls out. He was a good pope. Pope Francis was a good person. He was, it shows here, the Empress energy could be him. He has the balance of the yin and yang. He was supporting everything. He was very protected. But there's a decision here that it was made by someone insisting, constantly insisting. But then there's this other energy protecting this energy. Yeah, so the death and the 7 of Swords confirms that, okay? This is 7 of Swords, lying, betraying, being sneaky, and the death energy here. Because they want the 5 of Pentacles. They want to, but also that's another thing, is like the poverty consciousness. They want to acquire, it's a siphoning energy, especially, look, in the dark, this is their goal. It's all about money. They want to, there's something about gold in the Vatican. This is really weird. And yeah, that's the truth. Ace of Swords, the truth.
Savannah, why do you make everything about race? Like, why are you always talking about race? Like, not everything is about race. Everything is about race! It is! Everything is! Every single part of our society traces back to racism. Everything. The damn ice cream truck song is fucking racist. The reason we have credit scores and student loans is because they did not want black people to live next to them and go to school. Everything is encapsulated in the fact that they wanted black people to fail. Our society could be so much more progressive than it is now. Spent 400 years trying to keep minorities down, that we have not progressed in technology, in society, in anything. This country has spent so much time making sure that we don't surpass white people, that it's willing to cut its leg off during the sack race over and over and over and over again. And that's why we're in the fucking predicament that we're in now. It's not about anything else but the fact that they do not want minorities to thrive. That is what it's been about since day fucking one, when they got to this fucking land. They took it away from people who were already here and didn't stop doing it. I understand that sometimes we want to ha-ha, hee-hee and live life and forget, but I'm always going to bring it up. If you don't want to hear it, don't talk to me, but I'm always going to talk about racism because it makes me fucking angry. You don't get to spend 400 plus years mistreating people based off of their skin tone alone. It caused ripples in generations. You haven't even began to try to undo it. But you want to get mad at me because every time I talk about racism, you get annoyed. Because every time I bring up something, oh, it's because this, it's because of race, it's because of racism, you get mad. Shut the fuck up.
The world is a cycle, it's an ending. It's something in the world that they want is exposed. They don't want people to know anymore. Also, there's a lobbyist. There's a lobbyist here who paid to kill the Pope Francis.
What is a lobbyist? What is a lobbyist? A lobbyist is somebody who is essentially allowed to legally bribe the government. They can donate a certain amount, and they are allowed to put pressure on any governmental party in order to enact bills that they want. They can complain, make citizen complaints, and meet with the directors of various parties and people in our government. Lobbyism is a travesty on Canadian democracy. The question I have is how many lobbyists are in bed with Pierre Poilievre? And is he MAGA? Because that is the question at the heart of everything that I want to know. And it is at the heart of this election. This is part of my series with Greenpeace. I have looked into it, and 6 out of 20 members of the Conservative Party of Canada's highest governing body are part of lobbying firms. That means all decisions that the party makes officially go through these people. How did they get in those positions? You can probably guess. Let's start by talking about Aaron Shui. He's the managing director of Capitol Hill Group. Their clients are people such as Elon Musk's X-Corp, MBDA Missile Systems, and Canadian International Pharmacy Association. Obviously, these people really do want a stake in what's going on in Canadian politics. Stephen Barber is part of CCNC and Strategy Corp. People shouldn't name their companies Corp. It's really, really dystopian. Stephen Barber's company, Strategy Corp, is highly invested in privatized nuclear industries, which, by the way, privatized industries for nuclear development are very bad and lead usually to economic and environmental disaster, potentially hurting millions of people. I am not anti-nuclear. I am anti-private nuclear. Matthew Conway is part of Maple Leaf Strategies and started his own company called Conway Directions. Great job, original name. Of course, they work with Meta Canada as well as Enbridge, a huge oil company and a social media giant. We love those guys. Guess who the Conservative Party of Canada wants to give huge tax breaks and free rein to? Heather Feldbush is part of a group called Alberta Council. Since they're based in Alberta, I bet you can guess who they lobby for. Oil. It's oil. They want oil to have no restrictions and nothing to do with the climate accords. Next, we have Anthony Mattar, who is part of Crestview Strategies. They work with Rumble, an alternative to YouTube used exclusively by the far right. They also work with X-Corp. Again, I'm sure this will shock you, but their goal is to deregulate online industries in order that they have more power and more influence over politics and the country's culture. Last, but of course not least, Amber Ruddy. She's part of Council Public Affairs. That group is big in pharmaceuticals, mining, and oil. Isaac, why do you care about this, and what does this have to do with Pierre Poilievre? Well, these guys run the entire organization that Pierre Poilievre is the leader of. See, with political parties, it's not actually the leader who runs the group, but a governing body behind the leader. These are 6 of the 20 who have ultimate power over Poilievre and his people.
J.D. Vance is not alone in this. Yeah, there's 2 people involved. King of Swords, Queen of Swords. Could be married people. I wouldn't be surprised as the Amazon dude. Yeah. Because he's losing money. All the billionaires, it's all of them. They're all involved in this. It's all of them. Yeah. Pope Francis was a... Yeah, Zionism is really it's a parasite, guys. Like, it's the most disgusting ideology I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, the 10 of Swords. This is betrayal. This is multiple endings. This is, again, a painful ending. This is also to create fears and doubts and keep people oppressed, all right? So this is like an oppression ritual using the Pope. This is their last attempt because nothing is working. Yeah. Yeah, nothing is working. The 2 of Pentacles and the Temperance. This is like energy of peace. There's some type of oppression here about women or something like that as well. The 10 of Wands, the Star. Yeah, it's something about they're jealous and envious of the Pope and his stand and stuff like that. Because, yeah, they don't, like, for them, it's not about the atrocities that they're doing in Palestine. It's about, like, they don't care about that. They care about winning. Like, they want to win in the race of like their propaganda, like their money that they have invested, the lies. They don't want that to be out there. They don't want the truth to be out there. Like, this is heavy burden for them. Like, they're stressed out about that, especially those who have patience, who, yeah, a lot of you, you're Five of Swords and the Six of Swords. Goes from the 5 to the 6, and then the Strength. Yeah, something is very corrupt here.
E ieri sono stati bombardati bambini. Questo è crudeltà, questo non è guerra. Voglio dirlo perché tocca al cuore.
Yusuf,
Buonasera Santo Padre.
buonasera, come stai?
Sto bene, grazie a Dio. Mi scusa, è stato con la Santa Messa.
Ah, con la messa. E dimmi,
Sì.
cosa avete mangiato oggi?
Il pollo, le ali, il resto dei polli, il resto del pollo, la salita che sta Santo Padre. Lo que quedó del pollo de ayer.
Salam alaikum.
بص ايوه بص البابا ايوه انت بابا
Spero che la prossima volta possa. Ieri il patriarca non lo hanno lasciato entrare a Gaza come avevano permesso. E ieri sono stati bombardati bambini. Questo è crudeltà, questo non è guerra. Voglio dirlo perché tocca al cuore.
البابا ايش اللي عمله ما حصلش يعني ما حصلش من رئيس دولة في العالم. اللي عمله لغزة واللي كان يسأل على غزة كل يوم وكل يوم اتصال ودعم مفتوح لغزة ولمسيحيين غزة لمسلمين غزة.
Ok, muchas gracias Santo Padre. Muchas gracias Santo Padre.
Grazie tante.
Devo ringraziare, pregare per lei, chiedere sempre prega per loro.
E prega a favore, non contro.
Sì, grazie Santo Padre.
A domani.
Grazie. A domani Santo Padre.
A domani. Shukran. Shukran.
Pope Francis died today, and the last message he had for the world was advocating for Palestine. His last message before his death was stop the genocide and suffering in Gaza. Imagine the kind of person you have to be to, on your deathbed, instead of worrying about yourself, to be advocating for people who are not like you, who don't speak the same language as you, who maybe don't even believe the same things as you, but you know in your heart what is right and you fight for those oppressed people anyway. He really was the true embodiment of Christianity, of the love and mercy of God. And this may have been the last time that he could advocate for Palestinians, but it was far from the only time. I mean, at the Vatican's annual nativity scene, he unveiled a figure of baby Jesus draped in a kufiya. How very fitting is it then that Pope Francis's last words were in defense of Palestinians, while millions of Christians around the world celebrated a holiday to commemorate the most famous Palestinian of them all. And there will be Christian Palestinians, Christian Arabs all over the world who will mourn this loss. If you are a Christian in America, it should not be any more clear that supporting a ceasefire in Gaza and ending the genocide of Palestinians, supporting that is the most Christian thing you can do right now.
I'm not saying that J.D. Vance murdered the Pope. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that the Pope dying mere minutes after meeting J.D. Vance is proof that this administration, this government, does not have the mandate of heaven. God is telling us, no, don't do this. Figure out some way to pull it back. Maybe hit an Uno reverse card somewhere in here, buddy. Because let me tell you something. J.D. Vance has been arguing with the Pope via Twitter for months now. The Pope Francis, was an 88-year-old man who has survived fascism. He's survived and helped so many different people. He has stood up and he has preached the gospels and the light and love of humanity. And J.D. Vance was like, actually, there's a hierarchy to who you should love. And that means that we can send people to El Salvadorian death camps. And the Pope was like, hey, man, you kind of suck. You kind of suck. I'm going to say it in a very nice way, very papal way. But I, Pope Francis, I don't agree with your administration. Also, everything that you guys stand for in Gaza. And J.D. Vance is like, I'm going to push back. I'm a Catholic. I'm going to push back. And it's like every Catholic is like, J.D. Vance, that's not how it works. You can't push back on the Pope. He's the Pope. He's infallible. And then J.D. Vance is like, I'm the Vice President of the United States. I'm going to go. I'm going to take my family. We're going to go to Easter Sunday in Rome because that's what we can do because we're powerful. And they're like, okay, fine, you can come. So he showed up and he's like, I want to meet the Pope. And the Pope was like, I'm old. I'm 88. I had double pneumonia. Nearly died. Just talk to me. You're a VP. You're the number 2. Talk to my number 2. And J.D. Vance was like, this is a grave insult. And then finally the Pope was like, fuck it, whatever. I'll go meet this asshole. And they wheeled the Pope out. The Pope met J.D. Vance. They shook hands. You can see a look at the Pope's face. The Pope's like, this is the guy. This is the guy. J.D. Vance, very nice to meet you. And then he left. And then the Pope immediately went, fuck that guy. Just died. The only way it would have been better is if when the Pope saw J.D. Vance, if the Pope in Italian had been like, hey, J.D. Vance, does your haircut hurt? And J.D. Vance is like, no, why? And the Pope is like, because it's killing me. That would have been, that would have been perfect. That would have been perfect.
Remember to smile. My lasting memory of Pope Francis came just 4 days before his death, when, despite his failing health, he made a surprise visit to a prison in Rome and met with dozens of inmates. As he left, he said this.
Ogni volta che io entro in questi posti, mi domando perché loro e non Dio.
This line barely made a ripple. And I think I know why. To our elites and to so many in our society, these words are nonsense. They simply don't register. They're gibberish from a language that's long gone extinct. But Francis, for all his faults, understood that language. When he looked at the billions unable to live with dignity while others consume and destroy without end, he asked, why them and not me? When he saw the Mediterranean deliberately turned into a mass grave for refugees in search of that dignity, he asked, why them and not me? When he saw unspeakable violence like Palestinians being massacred by Israel with the complicity of democratic governments and record profits for arms dealers, he asked, why them and not me? Now he's gone. And I don't know when or if there'll be another pope who lives by those words. But if his legacy is to mean anything, let it be this, that in a time so numbed to suffering, from the person freezing on a sidewalk to the child buried in rubble, more of us start asking with humility and horror the only question that can still make us human. Why them and not us?
Okay, in the next video after this one, you're going to see the videos that I missed to put in part 1 yesterday. Empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation. I feel like a lot of people lack this concept of empathy, especially from, it's like they don't want people to have empathy. A lot of you are carrying, they want to give you that guilt. They can't stand the guilt. Those who are murdering, yeah. A lot of you are carrying the guilt of other people who have no guilt whatsoever. They're a psychopath. They're murderers. And they are lobbyists and corporation and stuff like that. They don't have that guilt. A lot of you feel guilty. You feel, I release any belief that no longer assists in my soul's growth. What beliefs that you're carrying right now that is making you feel okay with genocide? Right? That's what it is. A lot of you feel judgment. Yeah, absolutely. All of us are going to be judged on the day. We're judged every day. Judgment Day is every single day. It's your actions that what you do with your life, with what you do. A lot of people, yeah. I don't know if this guy, vice president, is going to live with himself. Yeah. He's going to be known as the person who murdered the Pope Francis. Yes. They're going to find out. He thought that the lobbyists told him that he was going to be protected, that it was going to... They don't care. Like, that's what they're saying. All they care is that they wanted to take out the person who's speaking the truth. That's about it. That's always been the Empire State situation. When it knows that it's crumbling, that it's just looking for the last resource. It's going to be found out in the blood. Something about the blood. Something and it's happened in the airplane. Could be in the airplane where they were preparing this. They were planning this. Okay? Spread your wings and fly. Yeah. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. I'm hearing also that the thing that they put on Francis could have worked faster because Francis was heartbroken by what's going on in Gaza. Why, you don't think Pope was looking into all the videos that we see, looking at Telegram and stuff like that? He has access to that. Just like everybody else. They're just pretending. He just wasn't. He was very vocal about it. See? The church is trying to come out here. Yeah. Church, temple, mosque. And you see in that video that I showed you guys where he's like, Salam alaikum, shukran, like... He is the epiphany of what Jesus wanted Christianity to be. Recognize your spiritual authority. Okay, so a lot of you are that spiritual church, temple, mosque. It's all of them together, okay? What I don't hear synagogue? Because it's corrupted. Oh man, a lot of Jewish anti-Zionists, you need to get your going, because yeah, they should be worried. I mean, I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Yeah, they're worried. This church, this temple, could be the Vatican themselves. Like someone in the Vatican, like they betray. Yeah, because they don't want to grow. They're regretting. Yeah, it's something about regret. Yeah. Okay, what else do they need to know? Yeah, there's a ceremony. It says ceremony, flying, family, internet, empathy. And then there's humor, childhood, home. Honor how far you've come. Yeah, they were trying to disrupt that. Arise and see a higher point of view. That's what we're doing. Yeah, it's confirming what I was saying. There is a ritual. It's an oppressive ritual, and they use the Pope as a sacrifice. This family or someone in the internet or something like that. Someone who has a presence in the internet. I wonder who. Sounds like Trump family, huh? Explore your sacred root system. Embrace the fact that you are the world. For some of you, that's it. The internet is being exposed to a lot of you. This family is going to be exposed. Who's trying to gain something out of this? I mean, he flew there, right? Yeah, he's just a pawn. He's being used. Also, they think it's funny. Embrace your wild side. See, I told you. It's something about a food or eating or something that Pope ate that says, remember where you came from and who you really are. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. But I'm not saying that here. I'm saying like they think it's funny. Again, the energy of the demonic IOF, which also confirms that they happy about this. It reveals a lot about not only this society or these people, but also as this was part of the ritual. Not only as oppression, but also to try to change the narrative back to them as a victim, but it's not working, right? So even me exposing this, creating an awareness, it's already breaking the illusion. Glory be to God, inshallah. They don't want that, right? It's something about empathy as well. It backfired, that's what it is. The empathy is like to feel bad, like saying, oh, okay, so thank you, Father God. Saying like, you see, that was Pope Francis karma for talking about, like, I'm literally channeling their energy, right? Because I'm giving you both sides, right? For a lot of you who are in that both sides energy, let me tell you, that both side energy, one of them is very, very evil and toxic and fucked up. And the other side, we have the empathy where we know, right? We know that a lot of people are worried about another pope being corrupt and also being lobbyist also, because that's what it was. Pope Francis cannot be bought. He kept his integrity, right? And until the last breath, he was, no, free Palestine, stop the genocide. And he was killed for that. And it's something about the food. So be mindful of the thoughts you are ingesting, okay? So some of you, it's a food eating. It's something about also what you're going to see after this, like trying to make it seem like, oh, it's natural and stuff like that. It was not. It was also because he talked about the children. Again, that part one of Jenin talking about that, don't forget that genocide is trying to kill the children. It's what a genocide is. It's trying to ethnically cleanse, and it's as if, you know, if you kill the children, you kill the future, right? So don't forget that that's their goal. And they're laughing about it. They think it's funny. Do we want to live in a world where we have people like that they're not taking accountability, they're not in jail? I don't know about you, but that sounds very evil and fucked up. And we should not allow that into our world. Yeah, especially these people, they're preventing growth. They're preventing things could be different, but that's it. The internet is really revealing everything, the truth to all of you. It's just some of you don't want to see it, right? But it's the truth. Here are the other videos.
The Middle East is the fruits of the British Empire. Britain promised the same territory 3 times over to the Arabs, to France in the Sykes-Picot, and to the Jews in the Balfour Declaration. This is typical British deceit. After the 1919 Versailles Treaty, Britain manipulated the region. After 1945, the United States was the dominant empire. There's never been the ability of these states to have their own sovereignty, their own governments, and for the Arab world to come together in a coherent way, like Britain, the United States, divide to conquer. That's the American strategy. This has nothing to do with democracy, non-democracy. This has to do with power. I'm hoping that the Arab world gets together and tells the United States, you're the only obstacle to peace. You have to accept the state of Palestine. You have to stop using your veto in the UN Security Council, which is blocking the Palestinian state. Israel has no veto over Palestinian rights. So this is what I'm hoping, that the Arab world speaks clearly.
Charcoal for Independence Day for a very cheap price. This is the sentence that Israeli settlers shared with a photo with burnt alive children from Gaza. I'm not surprised or shocked, but I want you to share this with every single person that's still standing and giving them the justification of what they're doing on Gaza Strip. These are the Israeli settlers that you are calling them the victims. These are the Israeli settlers that you're saying they have the right to defend themselves. They are mocking dead children who were burnt alive by soldiers who are trained to fight wars, who you call them the most moral army. They burned children alive, and their citizens, Israeli settlers, shared a photo with a statement saying, charcoal for Independence Day for a very cheap price, referring to a picture with burnt alive children. These are the kind of people you are defending and calling them victims to every senator, every congressman, every president, every leader out there. These are the people you're defending.
I know nothing. I saw one by one.
You're probably where things got out of hand last night at the federal leaders debate in English. It's entirely the commission that oversees the debates. It's entirely their fault. They succumbed to legal pressure from Rebel News and let all these morons in, and they made a big spectacle on Wednesday during the French language debate. And then on Thursday, when everyone was pushed to their limits, one of our colleagues from the Hill Times kind of snapped.
Search Rebel News for Canada and you will see clear as day, as will Avant, as the owner of both of those companies. He has third-party advertising trucks driving around this venue right now.
The main issue is this. If you're really going to consider Ezra Levant a journalist and Rebel News a journalism organization, then why do they also own, or why does Ezra also own a third-party company? And their job is to influence elections. Their job is to gather political donations. So you have these ad trucks that go around Canada during the elections, putting sort of anti-immigrant propaganda out there, Islamophobic propaganda, Canada's being invaded, that kind of thing. And that's owned by the same guy who says, hey, I'm impartial, I want to do the news. So Stewart from the Hill Times kind of lost his shit. And then the debate commission, which had already everything up, decided that, things were too tense, they couldn't guarantee everyone's safety. So in the middle of the debate, we hear that the question period afterwards is going to be canceled, which, it's an important... We're in the middle of a federal election. We need to ask these questions. The only reason this happened is because Rebel News was allowed in there. And the only reason Rebel News was allowed in there is because the the debate commission didn't know Ezra Levant was also registered as a third-party advertiser for the election. It's his job to know that. Anyway, the riot cops show up. There's like a platoon of riot police standing guard outside the area where the media is. When I was doing my job watching the debate, taking notes, there's a guy in tactical gear circling us. It's just not a fucking atmosphere that screams freedom of the press. The debate commission that oversees all of this, it is their job to make sure that you, Canadians, have access to the most information you can, and that these candidates and their ideas are scrutinized as much as possible. When you fuck up so bad that you have to cancel question period one night and it gets dominated by fucking right-wing nutjobs the other, you're not doing your job. You have ceded that responsibility to the worst actors in an ecosystem that is unfortunately being dominated increasingly by right-wing, big-money maniacs.
America was built on slavery, and it's never moved away from that model. Right now in the United States, there are about 800,000 prisoners who do forced labor. And if they're paid at all, they're paid as little as $1 for an 8-hour shift. They make products for McDonald's, Wendy's, Walmart, Starbucks, as well as furniture for office buildings and military uniforms, all kinds of things. And these prisons make billions of dollars with these contracts. And that makes it a huge incentive to keep American prisons full. And that's why we had things like the war on drugs, which was actually just an excuse to fill prisons with laborers. Immigrants in ICE detention centers also do labor. They have a voluntary work program, but it's not that voluntary. You still only make $1 a day, but then they charge you like $11 for a tube of toothpaste. So since the detention centers don't supply them with basic things that they need, and that they have to buy them from the detention center, they don't really have to pay them that $1. But those detention centers haven't become a big industry like American prisons have. Part of that is just a lack of demand for detention centers. Those detention centers just don't have a big enough labor force. But it feels like we could be in the beginning of building a new industry. There's now been not one, but 2 planes of immigrants that have been rejected by the other countries that they're being deported to. So that means that they'll come back to the United States and they'll go into those detention centers. The goal was never to deport them. The goal was to fill detention centers so much that they need to build more detention centers. And then if they build more detention centers, then they need more immigrants to fill them with. The system is really lucrative for people who own these private prisons and own these private detention centers, but it's very expensive for us, taxpayers. One prisoner costs taxpayers between $15,000 and $70,000 a year, which means it costs more to house a prisoner than I get paid. My labor costs less than theirs, but the prison industry doesn't care because they don't pay that cost. We do. But it also makes it so that small companies and private companies can't compete with prison labor. If I had a clothing company and I wanted to make uniforms for McDonald's, I could not get that contract because I cannot make the clothes that cheap. Because I can't use forced unpaid labor, and even if I could, I wouldn't do that. I don't think you would either, but you pay for it anyway. And ultimately, that means that your local burger place cannot compete with McDonald's price-wise. So watch what happens over the next few months. We were promised all of these mass deportations. Are they actually going to be deported, or are we going to have filled detention centers? And keep in mind that currently when ICE arrests an immigrant who is actually in the United States legally, they end up spending more time in a detention center than someone who is here illegally. So just because someone is in a detention center, that doesn't mean they didn't immigrate legally. And we'll know that this is what is happening when they start building new detention centers and when these detention centers start taking contracts for labor.
Are accusing the owners of a local cafe of staging a hate crime. All 3 owners have been charged with public mischief. Megan Batchelor is following the story for us and joins us now with the latest. So, Megan, what more can you tell us about this case?
Well, Natasha, this was a story that deeply concerned those in the Jewish community and really shocked Winnipeggers when it happened last week. It was reported that a local cafe called Bearmax had been robbed on Thursday. It was also alleged that one of the female owners had been assaulted and there had been vandalism and anti-Semitic graffiti had been sprayed on the cafe. In the days following this alleged attack, there was flowers laid at the cafe. There was messages of support that poured in to the owners of the cafe. But last night, investigators came to the conclusion that it was in fact staged. Officers poured over forensic evidence, video surveillance, as well as the interviews, and that's the conclusion that they reached yesterday. The 3 owners of the cafe are now facing charges of public mischief. Winnipeg's police chief spoke about this morning at a press conference, and he talked about just how disturbed he is by this twist in this investigation.
They're hugely disappointed and frankly angry that this family has used hate and racism in such a disingenuous way. In doing so, they have allowed cynicism to creep into this discussion. Cynicism that trivializes genuine victims of hate. Cynicism that risks reinforcing stereotypes that the Jewish community here locally and throughout the world have fought hard to dispel.
And he also said that aside from the social implications, if these allegations are in fact true, it was a massive strain on the Winnipeg Police Service itself. He says that no resource was spared as they investigated these allegations of a hate crime. He said officers put in close to 1,000 hours over the holiday weekend to try to reach a conclusion to this investigation. He couldn't speak to a motive at this point as to why these people might do this. He is saying, though, that it won't affect the way Winnipeg police
Okay, so it's not new that they like to orchestrate, stage scenes or things like that to make themselves look like the victims. Oh, this is a terrorist attack. This is anti-Semitic attack, and it turns out again they always get caught, right? Confirmation. Yeah. So, see, I forgot what I was saying, but it's something about they like to stage things. It's a constant lie, non-stop lying. I don't know, being called to this. What is this? Not this. Okay, let's tap in with these cards. Today is dedicated to Pope Francis. I feel like a lot of you're going to see this. They maybe not, because it's gonna be on a scandal, right? It's something about money. I can't make this up. The death keep coming out. See, we're in a different deck right now. Right? So, Holy God, Holy Spirit, Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre, venga a nosotros tu reino. hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día y perdona nuestras ofensas como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos deje caer en la tentación, mas líbranos del mal. Amén. There's something here, like they are, Six of Swords, like they want people to move on, like they want, like, stop thinking about it, like, you know, like, forget it, like, it's like they want people to have short memory, like they do, kind of thing. Okay, what's the shadow? Light workers not only look at the light, they look at the dark as well to bring it to the light, okay? That's it. Shame. Shame. Embrace your flaws. They are part of your unique story. So some of you, you're carrying the shame of this or feeling ashamed, but don't do that. Know that that shame comes from those evil people doing things that they could have done better. Like this guy could have said no, just like the Pope Francis says, no, I'm gonna stand, you can pay me all the money in the world, I'm not gonna betray the Palestinians. You're crazy, right? So they couldn't put him into submission. He couldn't, that's it. That's what it is. A lot of you need to wake up. This is why the system needs to change. A lot of you carrying the shame of people that have no shame at all. Yeah, see, they're angry because they're jealous, envy. A lot of you carry the power of having that immense amount of empathy, having that immense amount of going through the transformation, trying to, a lot of you, that's part of the oppression as well, trying to shame all of you, you know, trying to, there's a lot of ending here. Like, that's it. It's like they can't carry anymore the shame and the guilt. It says uses fire for transformation, not to destroy, right? So anger is, it says rage, frustration, resentment. Forgot to read the words here. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So the shame is, the spell is a shame, and it says humiliation, disgrace, and embarrassment. So it backfired. This is what they wanted. They wanted the Pope to die in shame and humiliated, disgraceful, embarrassment, but it's happening to them. So the Zionists, Israel, IOF, or all these people, this is their goal. Like, they don't want the truth to come out because they want others to feel like they're still in that delusional, because they have a mental illness. They're not well. Again, these are not, I don't see human. I see very, very, very disgusting possessive demons here. They're possessed. When you lack empathy and you don't have humanity, especially like especially people grieving right now, and you're celebrating that, like, that's fucked up. Like, that means you're dead. Like, that's it. You're dead. You're a dead soul. A lot of you use that anger not for to destroy, and that's what's going on. It's like you use that anger, that alchemy, you're transmuting, because a lot of us, we're angry. We are so angry, right? And we're using it for love. We're transforming it into love. We're transforming it into information, right information. We're transforming debunking propaganda. We're transforming into healing. We're transforming into protesting. We're transforming into boycotting. Like, that's their anger. Like, they don't want you guys to do this, right? So they create situations where they humiliate, make you disgrace or embarrassed, but it's going back, it's just backfiring to them. It's just showing people like they're losing, these oligarchs, these people, politicians are losing the how do you say, like the information war, they're trying to lie to people, they create illusions and try to be like celebrities and famous and stuff like that when they're not. Like, most people see them as just disgrace, disgusting. A lot of you envy. It says turn green eyes into force for self-improvement and inspiration. So a lot of you, if you've been feeling that shadow energy, like, know that it's normal to feel that, but try to direct that energy, because demonic entities cannot live when you don't feel any envy, jealous, lies, like low vibration energy. Anger also. So this is why anger, there's righteous anger, like the anger from Jesus Christ when he was flipping the tables and stuff like that. That's righteous anger. That's holy anger, because that means you're using it to create not only solidarity, but also create inspiration to inspire people and also to create change, right? And that's what Jesus was all about. Also, the anger that him doing that, it will put those people to shame. Those people who were trying to humiliate him, who were trying to disgrace him and embarrass him, he flipped the tables. So a lot of you, this is what's going on. Pope Francis flipped the tables. He's been flipping the tables, right? By supporting LGBTQ, trans, and he always advocated for those who are oppressed. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing as a pope. This was not okay for the state or empires, right? Especially at pariah, colonial, that should not exist, right? Especially has multiple lobbyists that have multiple investments in these colonies and these. Also, Palestine is very rich, guys. Also, the Congo and the Sudan. So we are putting these people to shame by taking our anger and not being like, we do peaceful protesting, but if it becomes violent, just like police violence and all that, we have to defend ourselves, right? What the hell? Now, there's the energy of very jealous, envious. So J.D. Vance wasn't there because, not just for the money and stuff. He was very jealous, very envious of the popularity of the Pope Francis as well. But also, this envy does not come just him. There's the Trump administration, there's the oligarchs that cannot stand that this guy will not submit to them, will not take any money from them to shut the fuck up, right? Yeah. So it says, turn green eyes into force for self-improvement and inspiration. It says jealousy, covetousness, longing. A lot of you taking your rage and your frustration and resentment and turn it into love and change. So a lot of people are jealous of that. Yeah. Grief came up again. We saw grief before. So a lot of you are grieving your old selves, and a lot of us are grieving Pope Francis. So it says, in pain, find healing and deeper connection to the self. Look at all his good deeds. Remember him who he was. Know that he literally, to his last breath, he obviously knew J.D. Vance was there to kill him too. Like, he's not stupid. For sure, Father God told him, by the way, if you say yes to this, if you're okay with this, that's it. Well, you don't think someone so spiritual and literally they're advocating for the Son of God, a Palestinian, is not going to hear God himself? Come on. But he knew that people like us, all of us, will stand up to him and will continue speaking. And we're going to continue even louder now. In pain, find healing and deeper connection to the self. Sorrow, mourning, and loss. It is a loss. So we have grief. And then we have right after apathy, obsession. So all of us who are feeling grief and empathy and feel every day for the Palestinian will never stop, because that's what they want to do. They want to tire you guys, crumble you, make you down. It's because they're full of apathy. Again, someone who is an apathy, racist, white supremacist has already possessed demonic entity. It's not longer a human. You need to remember this, okay? My last breath that I'm here for to say this. Don't forget this. Someone with lack of empathy, it's not human anymore. There's no human in there. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their actions, the way they speak, how they treat other people, how they get happy by killing children. That tells you everything you need to know. By being okay with genocide, by advocating and denying genocide. And that's when a lot of us who have a God in our hearts, a creator, who have empathy, who love human beings. Doesn't matter their race, their color, their nationality, their sex, their stand, it doesn't matter. This is what the enemy can't stand. He's trying to create a world of apathy. You see how these sunflowers are like dead? You guys are the sun. You bring the light. So their obsession is to create apathy so that we don't care. So we continue the slavery energy that these people still benefit. They don't want the system to change, capitalism. And it's going to. It's through us. We take our stand. And this is what Pope Francis is literally trying to leave you guys behind. Don't lose your integrity. No matter what they do to you, don't do that. Remember, God is bigger than all these people in this planet. Do you understand? It's with God that you need to be okay with, that you need to be good at. Like right now, he's in front of God, and God is like, "Come, mijo, venga. You coming right in, right here." Also, Pope Francis became now, he's an ancestor, like powerful one. So now he can go through physical and spiritual anytime he wants. So guess where Mr. Pope Francis is gonna go first? I know the day that my mom passed away like that, like, oh my God. It was, yeah. And that's just my example of people who are not meant to, they pass away and it wasn't, or they did good deeds, because that too is not just, sometimes, people just pass away for circumstances. But when they've done good deeds, when they've done the work of God that he tells them, when you're obedient, be confident, like you're going to be like that. Like God is going to give you that gift in the spiritual realm. You're going to have both access. You're going to be able to help people in the background. Be one of those powerful ancestors, okay? Pope Francis is that. And it backfired, whatever they were trying to do here. So it says here, indifference, disinterest, and detachment. So that's a shadow that if you're in that energy, work on that, because that's not good. It says obsession, release the chains of thought and free your mind, okay? It says fixation, compulsion, preoccupation. So yeah, they're obsessed with this. Like envy and obsession is a really low vibration and apathy, okay? So something about insecurity as well. Yeah, these are people who are insecure. All right, so let's see what else do they need to know. What else do they need to know, Father God? Name of Jesus. Yeah, celebration. Page of Cups usually is an apology, right? So it's going viral, that picture or the telegrams of the IRF making fun of the Pope Francis. Yeah, so that kills all the narrative. So again, more people for the resistance. Good job. Yeah, so this is it. This is backfiring right now. Yeah, the fools. That's it. They're foolish. It's gonna be exposed. So there's the fool. It's basically that. Thank you, Father God. Yeah, Two of Wands. The plan, they were planning this. This is someone who was planning. Very foolish. Yeah, they planned this death. I can't make this up. Energy doesn't lie. People do, huh? So you're going to see in the media and stuff like that, like they wanted. The Four Swords keep coming up again in a different deck. Queen of Wands. This is someone who wants some type of money. I don't know where they got this idea that if they sacrifice the Pope or something like that, that they will gain some type of money or something like that, or that they would some type of foundation, some type of land. Oh man, that gonna backfire. So yeah, also the Two of Wands could be put something to rest. So puts again the truth to rest. Yeah, to confuse people, but it's in reverse. The Two of Swords. Nobody's confused anymore. Now we're like grateful. Thank you for showing us who you are. Again, this is multiple times. These people are constantly. Anyways, there needs to be accountability, and also we need different court system judges and stuff like that. Like this is fascism to like intensely trying to spread everywhere. Yeah, for money. These people are doing this for money. Also, this could be a family, a very powerful family.
A young Palestinian woman is nominated for the Cannes Acid Film Festival. Less than 24 hours later, she's dead. Her home was targeted in a so-called precision airstrike against militants. The truth is, the only weapon in her home was a camera. According to the International Federation of Journalists, 𝆃هE has Riseن was a freelance photojournalist and a member of the Palestinian Journalist Syndicate, otherwise known as PJS. An Israeli airstrike targeted her family home in El Tufah neighborhood, Gaza City, killing her alongside 10 members of her family. 𝆃هE was a photographer who came to international attention for her photojournalism depicting life in Gaza during the genocide.
بفرج العالم أنا إيش بصير معي وإيش بصير مع غيري. فهذا الإشي يعني كنت بعتبره إنه هذا سلاحي إني أنا أدافع عن حالي وإنه أهلي ما ينتسوا وإنه أوثق قصص الناس.
Her work got the attention of French-Irani filmmaker Sapida Farsi, who decided to share her story with the world through a film, Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk, which was selected for Cannes Acid, which is a well-known film festival that runs parallel to the world-famous Cannes Film Festival. Riseن was a protagonist in the 110-minute film, which is a window offering glimpses of the ongoing massacre of the Palestinians. It came about through a miraculous encounter with 𝆃هE and the communications Farsi had with her almost a year ago. When I heard the news yesterday, I first refused to believe it, thinking it was a mistake, said Farsi to French newspaper Liberation, like the one a few months ago when a family with the same surname had perished in an Israeli attack. Incredulous, I called her, then sent her a message, and then another one, and another one. All those bright existences were crushed by a finger that pressed on a button and dropped a bomb to erase one more house in Gaza. She continues, there are no more doubts to be had. What is occurring in Gaza today is not and has not been for a long time an answer to the crimes committed by Hamas on October 7th. It is a genocide committed by Israel. I blame those that are committing it as well as their accomplices, and I ask for justice for 𝆃هE and for all the innocent Palestinians that have died. The Israelis claim that they targeted a Hamas operative in a precision strike, but this is of course what they always say. Everyone in Gaza, even children, have been labeled Hamas and therefore are considered appropriate targets by the Israelis. It's their way of getting away with murder. Israel has targeted and killed hundreds of journalists since the genocide began. A report by the Watson Institute for International and Public Affairs revealed that 232 journalists have been killed during Israel's war on Gaza as of early April. Early on during the genocide, Wael el-Dahduh was reporting for Al Jazeera in Gaza when he and his cameraman Samir were attacked by Israel. Samir was killed. Wael returned to report in Gaza despite his injuries, but shortly after, his son and several other family members were killed as well. It was clearly a message from the Israelis. They are targeting journalists in Gaza for their reporting. Just a few weeks ago, Ahmed Mansour, another journalist, was burned alive when Israel bombed the tent that he was sleeping in. And of course, their excuse was that they were targeting a Hamas militant. For these reasons, many believe that 𝆃هE's nomination got the attention of the Israelis. Matt Lieb tweeted, 𝆃هE was the subject of a documentary that got into the Cannes Acid Film Festival. The day after Cannes announced this, her and her family were targeted and killed by Israel. And of course, a Zionist responded, what was she doing with Hamas? This sick level of dehumanization in Gaza continues, which is why we continue to cover it and expose it. It's our obligation to bring an end to this inhumane madness. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was 𝆃هE deliberately targeted? Will anyone hold Israel accountable? Follow for more. Before you go, remember to subscribe to this channel for more geopolitical deep dives and propaganda debunking. If you like what I do, you can support my work at PropandCo.com, where you can become a paid member and gain access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content, explainer videos, and podcasts with your favorite guests. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves.
Trust nothing. No lies. Free your mind. Everything is propaganda. Everything. Propaganda. Everything is propaganda. So why not choose your own?
Now, you're going to see this family trying to move away or trying to, try to keep it on the low. But they're involved in this. There's a family of, could be of 10 10 members or something like that, or 10 generations. Could be 10 generations trying to keep people like confused or something like that. Could be people who are losing money as well, and they're losing their inheritance or something like that, and they accepted some type of bribe money or something like that, bribe money. Damn, that's gonna cost even more. So yeah, the Ten of Pentacles is some type of family to keep something confused here. Nine of Cups. Yeah. Again, I'm seeing the T Tower, and the Nine of Cups is him. Like, yeah, he regrets it. Well, at least we know he has a heart, but he really doesn't. He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, he's just burdened because, yeah, because that was a chosen star. Yeah, that's the foundation. Says the star, very burdened about this. Could be a lot of people. This is someone who does anything to be a celebrity or something like that. Anything for money. What a loser. Too many cards for the guy, but could be intentional. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands, the Sun, the Queen of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. So they're upright. So there's going to be either someone who works in the religious leader or something like that, who also will reveal this truth. There's going to be a police officer, either a woman or something like that. Not necessarily, or someone with a divine feminine energy. Could be a judge. There's going to expose there's something that it was worked on to create this Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups. So we have the 10-10 here. Something about the world. Yeah, a decision that they made. The Lovers here. The Chariot. Yeah, to move something or to go ahead and try to end. The Five of Pentacles. Yeah, they're angry about this. This money, there's something. Yeah, Pope Francis took something with him. They were trying to have access to something that only him has access to. He gave it to someone, and I can't tell anymore. Yeah, look, that's what they want. They want access to something in the Vatican. Six of Wands. Yeah, some type of recognition, some type of, yeah. It's something that they want. But also, I see also the destruction of Christianity. They're trying to destroy it. So the Vatican needs to be very careful who you partner with. Do not partner with anybody from Israel. Let me just say that. Because their goals has nothing to do with all of you. It's again, land theft. It could be stealing from them. Something about money. Because they don't have anything. So what does thieves do when they don't have anything, money or anything, and they're losing everything? So yeah, a lot of you let a fucking demon inside your house, inside the Vatican house. I'm seeing the January 6th, the coup. It's the same thing, it's the same energy. Also, he's trying to prevent from being impeachment. Again, the same thing. He's just trying to jealous and envious of people being recognized and being, because a lot of you're being recognized, vindicated and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, Pope Francis has something that he took with him that he didn't want to give them to them. So yeah, so G.D. Vada's murder Pope Francis for nothing because he didn't get the information. But he's gonna try to get it from somebody else. Somebody else has that information though. It's not dumb. Pope Francis is not dumb. And all the Vaticans and the people who work in the Vatican, they're not dumb. They have dealt with this before. It's not their first rodeo. There's so far fascism in the past. What do you mean? But you know, God has a purpose. They know. So what else do they need to know? The last thing about this, again, the 3 cups celebration. Could be 3 people involved in this. There's 3 people involved. Could be 3 people in the, it's like a ritual, see? Could be the Trinity, right? The God, Son, Holy Spirit could be in this also. What else do they need to know? Yeah, they're very angry that this confusion, this illusion is not working. This information is going fast. It's going really fast. Thanks to the internet, yeah. They're trying to block it. Yeah, the 7 of Wands. They're probably going to censor and definitely censor this video. Yeah, so please, thank you so much for liking and commenting and sharing and putting it out there, because they're going to try to. 7 of Wands is blocking. The 9 of Swords, the information is coming in, the truth. Yeah, that's it. They're losing the information war. Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, the King of Cups. The truth. Yeah, there's going to be 2 people. One who has a lot of spiritual gifts. Could be someone a religious or spiritual, very strong, very protected. And then you have the King of Cups, which is very empathetic, very loving energy. The 6 of Cups in the past. Man, this is not Pope Francis First Radio, by the way. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. He was here in a different life doing the exact same thing. He's a real revolutionary rebel, that's for sure. You'll be missed. So that's the truth. There's other people who know what the information that they wanted from Pope Francis. They did not only came for him to quiet him, okay? Yeah. It's the truth. It's something that he knows about an Empress. Remember the Empress came up in another deck? Yeah. Very strong lineage. Very, yeah. Yeah, he didn't give that information. Yeah. Tower moment. Yeah. A lot of you, it's like he wanted to betray. They wanted him to betray. Yeah. Empress energy is the mother. Could be mother energy. This could be Mother Gaia, Mother Earth. There's the truth that they're trying to suppress. A lot of you, you're very strong, okay? Very strong. King of 4 Cups. Yeah, this guy is very upset. He's not getting what he... Yeah, 4 Cups here. Bueno. At the end of the day, he's not even going to get money. He's just going to get shame. And yeah, it's just... Father God said, be patient. There's balancing right now in temperance energy. There's a lot of earth angels here working behind the scenes, okay? They're working together. People that Pope knew as well. Yeah. Yeah. 4 of Wands. Yeah, he knows the truth. Yeah. The betrayal. 10 of Swords. Painful ending. 5 of Pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. He was betrayed multiple times, even in the same foundation. It could be in the same Vatican energy. The same. These people who just, he kept rejecting, that he didn't want. Yeah. 5 of Pentacles is to create his poverty consciousness. Is to lower, it's something about a church. Is to, again, I keep seeing that. They're trying to destroy Christianity. And they're doing it by ethnic cleansing the Palestinian, where the origin of Christianity and Catholic and everything came from. And for a lot of you Christian Zionists, you still don't get it. You're a fucking idiot. You're literally giving everything away for these people. I would not, it was not a flex to say you're a Christian Zionist. It's not. And a lot of you don't say it because you feel ashamed, right? Because it's shameful. Yeah, shame on you. Because you're only using Christianity just to gain some type of money. The Wheel of Fortune is here. It's fated. The Ten of Swords, this is going to be exposed. The High Priestess and the Pillars. When you see the High Priestess, whatever has been hidden is going, whatever is hidden or is trying to get hidden is coming to the light. About these three people, about this group, these people who are happy about someone's death, who are orchestrating this death. I think we know who these three people are already, don't we? And it doesn't have to be three people. It could be a collaboration. It could be a lobbyist. The Ten of Cups. They were trying to gain this Ten of Cups. The ultimate happiness, wish fulfillment. Like a fools. They are going to fall no matter what. Yeah, this death is their fool. Yeah. This is going to be exposed and is going to, Page of Wands, information, not just through me. These people are gonna be, sleepless nights because tower after tower, Why would you think that sacrificing someone, a religious leader, death again, that it's not going to backfire and go back to you? That's just ridiculous. My friends, I love you. I'm with you. If you, some of you are not even religious and you feel bad because you know Pope Francis was a really good person. He's an ancestor now, and he is going to create a lot of changes within the spiritual realm. He did what he was supposed to be doing, okay? He also knew he was going to pass away, okay? So, especially he knew, all right? But that too is just that he did like Jesus. He sacrificed himself because for the greater good, because this is going to be exposed. Especially they're going to find something in the bloodstream. They're going to find something that is going to not only incriminate USA as the primary killers, because they also are killing people in Palestine and Gaza. And that also shows that they went to that extent to quiet the truth because they want to win the information war, which is basically them not losing money for the lies and propaganda that they're creating on top of the real truth that is just spreading like wildfire. They even go to the extent to kill the Pope so that they can win. But at the end of the day, they're going to lose everything. And then again, this is the end of the USA empire. And you're going to see it happening, especially because of this. Okay? I love you. That's what I have for you. I'm just going to go recharge and I'll be back later. But for now, I'm really sad. I hope that we learn from Pope Francis that even in death, you don't give up for your integrity. You don't give up your soul. You love those who are being oppressed, and you do everything you can to stop murders and evil and demonic, disgusting, inhumane people from continuing murdering children and women and people with disability, people of color, just because they want more money, because they're greedy, because, and also our planet.
You can't liberate a slave who found comfort in their captivity. Modern society has mastered the art of captivity, not with chains, but with comfort. Capitalism and consumerism have turned comfort into a drug, one that numbs our pain, dulls our instincts, and disconnects us from our power. We're sold convenience, ease, entertainment, indulgence, and told that this is freedom. But it's not freedom, it's sedation. We've been conditioned to avoid discomfort at all costs, to reach for the next quick fix, the next hit of dopamine, the next purchase, the next distraction. To never feel too deeply, question too much, or slow down long enough to remember who we are. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't live in your comfort zone. Awakening doesn't happen on autopilot. Liberation isn't bought, it's embodied. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the doorway. It's often the crack where the light gets in. The empire thrives when we stay asleep, because an awakened human who knows who they are and their power is hard to control and manipulate. They remember their soul, they seek truth over trend, they stop consuming mindlessly and start creating consciously. So what do? We don't chase suffering, but we stop running from discomfort. We meet it with presence, We choose awareness over avoidance, and we lean into the sacred work of healing, feeling, and unlearning. Because comfort can be a beautiful thing, but not when it's your cage. Liberation begins the moment you stop confusing comfort with freedom.
We have to have respect for our planet. And we need to hold these people accountable. That's our job. I love you guys. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, and continue the fight. We continue this fight for Pope Francis, who didn't stop, for all those martyrs in Palestine, in the Congo, innocent people and dying in the Sudan, for all of them. We keep going because nobody's free until all of us is free.